People spend most of their days circling around money, thinking about it, chasing it, guarding it, fearing not having enough of it, as if it were oxygen. But when money disappears, something unexpected happens. Life, in its quiet, mischievous way, walks you right up to the edge of your illusions. Suddenly you're without the usual costumes of status, plans, and possessions. It's just you, your thoughts, your fears, your stories about enough. And right at that trembling edge, real power begins. When you don't have money, you're forced to look beneath the surface. You begin to see that this whole play of earning, spending, gaining, losing is not really about numbers in an account or paper in your hand. It's about energy. It's about trust. It's about your relationship with the flow of life itself. And the moment you stop clawing at it, stop begging, stop panicking, that energy starts moving toward you again. It can feel almost supernatural, but it isn't magic. It's simply you remembering what you really are. I remember a time I was completely broke. And I don't use broke as a tragedy, but as a condition, like being caught naked in the rain. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but it's also strangely clean, strangely honest. You can't hide behind your things anymore. You're left with your inner world, your beliefs, your reflex thoughts. And you begin to hear how often your mind whispers, I can't. I don't have enough. I need something first. That's the trap. Every time you think, I don't have, you're quietly instructing life, keep it away from me. Every time you say, I'll be happy when, you push your own abundance into a future that never arrives. Life doesn't answer need. It responds to wholeness. It reflects your state of being, not your state of wishing. So when I say, just do it when you don't have money, I'm pointing to this. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting to feel safe before you move, because you'll be waiting forever. Life begins to move the instant you move. It's as if existence is watching you, silently asking, are you serious about this? Take one small step in faith, even when you have nothing. Again and again, you'll find life rushing in to meet you. Not because you're being rewarded for bravery, but because life was never withholding anything from you. It has only ever been mirroring your vibration. This isn't about fantasy or blind optimism. It's about a subtle shift inside. You must see that not having money is not a curse and not a statement about your worth. It's feedback. It reveals where you've believed in limitation instead of abundance, where you've served fear instead of flow. To really grasp this, you have to zoom out and look at the larger pattern. Look at nature. Trees don't meter out oxygen. Rivers don't bill you for water. The sun doesn't send the earth an invoice for light. Existence gives openly and still never runs out. Why? Because giving and receiving are one movement, seen from two angles. When you feel you are in lack, your instinct is to contract, to cling. But that grasping is exactly what blocks the current. The tighter you hold, the less can come in. It's like trying to catch a waterfall with a clenched fist. Nothing stays. Open your hand, especially when you're scared. That's when it matters most. So when you have no money, the practice is simple. Behave as if you are already supported. Not with arrogance, not by denying your situation, with a quiet, inner knowing. Walk as someone who is looked after by life. Speak as though your words carry weight and value. Give, even if it's tiny, a smile, your attention, a sincere compliment, as though your inner wealth were limitless. Watch what happens. Life begins to reflect that inner abundance back to you. People respond to your energy, not to your bank balance. Opportunities arise not because you're lucky, but because you are finally aligned. Here's something most people never truly see. Money is not the source of security. It is the echo of it. Real security comes when you no longer depend on anything outside yourself to feel whole. When you rest in that center that's untouched by gain or loss, you become magnetic. Money, success, love, they begin to orbit you, drawn by that calm certainty. This often happens quickly because the illusion of poverty only lives in time. When you stop projecting fear into tomorrow and drop into the present, you shrink the distance between you and what you desire. You move from wanting to being, from hoping to knowing. Consider this. When you say, "I want money," you are announcing that you don't have it. But when you feel grateful for money before it appears, you dissolve that sense of separation. You begin broadcasting the state of already having. And because life can only mirror what you are, it rearranges itself to match. That's why gratitude, especially when you're broke, is incredibly powerful. Anyone can feel grateful when life looks good. To feel genuine appreciation when you seem to have nothing, that is mastery. Because gratitude is not just a reaction, it's creative. It's an act of choosing abundance even when your senses say otherwise. When I first heard this, I doubted it. It felt silly to thank life for something I couldn't see. Then I realized, that's how everything is created. Every inventor, artist, visionary holds a picture of what doesn't yet exist and breathes life into it through belief. They honor the unseen long before it shows up. So when I hit bottom, no money, no job, no plan, I tried a small experiment. Every morning, before I even opened my eyes, I would quietly say, "Thank you for the abundance that flows to me today," even though I had no clue where it would come from. At first, it felt ridiculous, but slowly, something changed, not outside, inside. My mind stopped spiraling. My body relaxed. I started noticing chances that had always been there, hidden in plain sight. People began offering help, not because I begged, but because my energy had softened. I wasn't broadcasting desperation anymore. I was radiating trust, and that changes everything. So when I say, just do it when you don't have money, I'm saying, live as if you are already chosen by life. Because you are. Stepping into that energy is what calls forth the outer evidence. You may think, but isn't that just pretending? Yes. But understand this. Every belief is a kind of pretending. You are always rehearsing some version of reality in your mind. The only real question is, are you pretending limitation or pretending possibility? This pretending is not deception. It's creation. The conscious decision to inhabit a state of being before it crystallizes as circumstance. You are the dreamer here, and every feeling you hold is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. Most people stay stuck in lack because they insist on seeing proof before they'll believe. But life works the other way around. Belief is the evidence. Faith is the key. You must feel it first, then see it. It's like standing in front of a mirror, waiting for the reflection to smile before you do. It will never happen. You have to move first. The reflection can only follow. So when you don't have money, you are actually being given a sacred opportunity. To practice faith without a safety net. To act not because you know, but because you trust. To remember that abundance was never out there. It has always been within, and the quickest way to activate it is to give. Even the smallest act of generosity cracks the illusion of scarcity, because you cannot give what you don't at some level already have. So when you give time, care, attention, a little money, you send a message to your subconscious. I am abundant. The subconscious, very obedient, begins arranging events to make that statement true. Start simply. Share your time. Offer your full presence. Smile at someone. Offer help without expecting anything back. You'll be surprised how fast life starts answering. Because money is not the cause of giving. It's the echo. When you give freely and joyfully, you enter the same current that moves oceans and spins galaxies. You fall into step with creation itself. It's never about the amount. It's about the energy. Give from joy, not from guilt. From love, not from fear. And you'll find life keeps refilling your cup. Energy has to move. Trapped, it stagnates. Allowed to flow, it multiplies. You can feel this right now. Take a deep breath. Notice, you didn't earn that breath. You didn't have to deserve it. It's simply given. Now exhale. That's you giving back. Inhale and exhale. Receiving and giving are one continuous act. Stop one and the other stops too. Money is the same. It's just another rhythm of life. When you hoard it, dread it, obsess over it, you disturb the natural flow. When you let it move with trust and gratitude, it starts feeling surprisingly effortless. So if you're broke, don't shrink, expand. Don't freeze, play. This is life inviting you to remember your true role. You are not a victim. You are a creator. You are not merely looking for the source. You are the source through which life expresses itself. Look around you. Everything you see once existed only as thought. Every building, every tool, every fortune. Imagination is real wealth. Money is just its shadow. That's why this works as quickly as it does. The moment you shift your internal state, your external world scrambles to keep up. It has to. The outer is nothing but the inner invisible form. Ironically, the more desperately you chase money, the faster it runs. The more you obsess, worry, and cling, the more slippery it becomes. Try to grab life by the throat and it escapes your grip. Like water, you can hold it only with an open hand. Clench and it runs through your fingers. In their panic to secure money, most people actually repel it. They broadcast tension, lack, and fear. And life, exquisitely responsive, reflects that right back. The key is surrender, not giving up, but releasing the belief that you must control how and when everything arrives. When you're broke, your mind screams for control. It wants guarantees, timelines, assurance. But life doesn't unfold under threat. It blossoms under trust. When you stop fighting what is, when you can softly say, "I don't know how this will resolve, but I know it will," something remarkable happens. The energy that was knotted in fear is freed. It begins moving again, and the flow returns. You start to see that the real issue was never the absence of money, but the contraction of your mind. Every time you tighten in fear, you narrow the channel through which abundance can reach you. Relax, breathe, accept. And you open the gates. It's like tuning a radio. When you're tense and anxious, you're slightly off frequency, just static. When you let go, you lock into the station. The music of life, which was always playing, becomes clear. If you want it to happen fast, stop trying to make it happen fast. That craving for speed comes from impatience, and impatience is just fear dressed up. Instead, fall in love with the process. Let this season of not enough be a sacred teacher, revealing the parts of you still ruled by worry, doubt, and control. For a long time, I thought spirituality meant floating above the material world. Now I see it differently. Real spirituality isn't about escape. It's about intimacy with what is. It's seeing that the material world is the divine in disguise, money included. Seen clearly, money is a neutral messenger, a way life teaches us about trust, balance, and flow. When you stop treating money as a master and start relating to it as a teacher and playmate, you soften. You give when inspired, receive when offered, and remain at peace when it's not around, because you know it's still in circulation, and it will return. The universe moves in rhythms, in and out, up and down, gain and loss. You cannot demand only high tide and reject low tide. To do so is to misunderstand the ocean. So when your life is at low tide, when the money has flowed out, don't panic. The tide always turns. What you call lack is simply the universe inhaling, preparing for a new exhale of abundance. If you can sit in that space without fear, the next wave can arrive faster than you expect. This approach works quickly because it's not about forcing reality to give you something. It's about stopping your resistance to what is. It's not about attracting money. It's about releasing the vibration that keeps pushing it away. When you stop saying, "I need," and begin living from "I have," you step out of the frequency of absence. You stop broadcasting insecurity. And life, being perfectly reflective, stops feeding you more reasons to feel insecure. It's all one great mirror. You stand in front of it and shout, "Give me something good." And the mirror shouts back, "Give me something good." You scowl. The reflection scowls. You smile. The reflection smiles. The trick is to act from the state you want reflected, not from the state you're seeing now. If you want abundance, practice abundance emotionally, mentally, energetically. Even if your pockets are empty, your spirit doesn't have to be. You can walk with dignity, speak with confidence, dream with joy. That is wealth in its purest form. When you embody that, life cannot help but match it, because consciousness shapes form. People often ask, how can I feel abundant when I'm worried about rent or food? You don't have to pretend your situation doesn't exist. You simply have to stop confusing it with who you are. You can look at your bills and say, yes, this is what appears right now, but it's not my identity. You are not your balance sheet. You are not your belongings. You are the awareness in which all of this arises. You are the space in which experiences come and go. The one who knows they are the sky doesn't panic over passing clouds. When that understanding really lands, you begin to live differently. Synchronicities appear. People show up at the right moment. Work arrives. Unexpected money appears. Not because you're forcing, but because you're aligned. Life isn't withholding anything from you. It's your own fear and doubt that withhold openness. So what is this technique really? It's not a ritual, not a magic sentence. It's a shift in consciousness. When you don't have money, don't contract. Expand. Don't ask, why me? Ask, what is life revealing to me right now? Then do something, anything generous. Do one thing that breaks the usual scarcity pattern. If you have $1, bless it. Hold it with appreciation as if it were 1,000. Gratitude multiplies whatever it touches. Money responds to appreciation. It responds to circulation. It responds to joy. Hoard it in fear, and it stiffens. Bless it in trust, and it grows. The way of life is play, not struggle. When you remember this, everything lightens. Even your finances. Your problems stop defining you. They become stepping stones, chances to practice trusting life. There's a saying, when you come to the edge of all you know, trust that one of two things will happen. Either you'll find solid ground, or you'll be taught to fly. That's what happens when you're out of money and choose faith over fear. You discover that life is far more supportive than you imagined. When you release your grip on control, you see that the safety you were chasing appears only after you leap, not before. Jump a few times, and you notice the net keeps appearing. Maybe not in the form you expected, but it appears. Because life is responsive. It's not a blind machine. It is an echo of your own consciousness. The sooner you trust it, the sooner it mirrors that trust. If you're hearing this while feeling tight, scared, exhausted from trying, if you've tried every affirmation, every manifestation trick, and nothing seems to stick, stop trying so hard. Pause. Breathe. Look around. Notice how even now, life is holding you. The chair beneath you, the breath in your lungs, the fact that these words are reaching you through invisible fields of energy. You are not abandoned. You are woven into a vast, living web. When you truly see this, you stop begging life to take care of you, because you realize it already is. Money doesn't flow to those who need it most. It flows to those who trust life most, because trust opens the channel. When you see this, your actions change naturally. You start doing what feels alive instead of what feels desperate. And joy is magnetic. Those who radiate joy are compelling. Doors open for them. Opportunities find them. Not because they are special, but because they are in harmony with the way life actually works. The universe is not a cold mechanism. It is a living field of intelligence responding to your vibration. When your vibration says, I am safe, I am whole, I am abundant, that field reorganizes to affirm it. Reality is not slow, it's immediate. Doubt is what drags things out. If you could drop your doubt, even for one day, 1 hour, and live as though you are already supported, you would be amazed at how quickly things shift. I've seen people find work within hours, receive surprise calls, remember forgotten resources, simply because they stopped vibrating at lack and began vibrating at trust. You don't have to force any of this. You only have to remember what's true. You are not separate from life. You are life. And life, by its nature, overflows. Right now, trillions of cells in your body are coordinating perfectly without your command. Your heart beats, Blood moves, the sun rises, the earth spins, all without you. Why then should money, one small aspect of this vast system, be the weird exception? It isn't. It's part of the same flow. You need only stop blocking it with fear. So tonight, before you sleep, try something simple. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and quietly say, "Thank you, life, for always taking care of me, even when I forget." Say it, not as a wish, but as a remembering. Feel it. Let it soak into you. Imagine yourself surrounded by warm, golden light, not as fantasy, but as a symbol of what is already true. You are held. Feel the relief of not needing to solve everything. Let tomorrow go for a moment. Rest in trust. And when you wake, act from that feeling. Smile at the day as if it's already working in your favor. Move as though unseen hands are guiding you. Because they are. You'll start to notice small miracles. A message, a coincidence, a kind gesture, a new lead. Don't dismiss them as luck. Recognize them as life whispering, "Yes, you're in tune." That's how it begins. Quietly, gently. The larger shifts follow. But remember, don't do any of this just to get money. Do it to come home to yourself. Money is a side effect of your wholeness. Abundance is not something you call in from outside. It's something you awaken within. When you remember who you are, limitless awareness, the very consciousness breathing this universe, lack becomes impossible. Everything you've ever wanted is already contained in the one who wants it. You are the spring from which the river flows. So next time you catch yourself saying, "I don't have money," pause, take a breath, smile gently, and say inwardly, "That may be how it looks right now, but it's not the deeper truth of what I am." Then act from that deeper truth. Walk with trust, give with joy, receive with gratitude. You'll see how quickly things can change. Not because reality needs time to adjust, but because, in that moment, you finally stop holding it back.